Welcome back to the show, everyone. I've got Jerry Schlutzwitz here with me with Pacific Financial Planning. He's going to tell us why financial checkups are just as important as physical ones.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, Bree, thanks for having
Jerry.
me.
Nice to see you
Nice
again.
to see you too.
As always, you always come with a wealth of information, no pun intended. Speaking of health and wealth, they go together.
You know, Bree, I was doing some research on this, and it's really amazing that of seniors, it's only 50% of seniors have a financial advisor. And when you get into a higher wealth, let's just say 500,000 and above, it's more like 75% have a financial advisor. But everybody who's a senior has at least one doctor, if not multiple doctors. Can you imagine saying, you know, we're not gonna, you know, I'm gonna go to the doctor, I'm gonna go to the doctor, everyone has to do it. But someone that said, yeah, I never go see my doctor. Everyone would go, wow, you gotta be kidding me. You know, you're 70 years old and you don't go see a doctor? Well, a financial doctor is equally as important because health and wealth go together. If you don't have wealth and you're super healthy, it's a tougher life. And sometimes that'll affect your health. And if you don't have your health and you're extremely wealthy, you pray that you did. So it's so important to put the two together and weigh them equally as far as having financial checkups and keeping in touch with that.
That makes so much sense, Jerry. So tell us about those financial checkups. What are those? What does that mean for retirees?
Well, I mean, the thing is to get it checked up for today's economy and today's world, not the world you retired into 10 years ago or when your spouse died 7 years ago. The world changes. I mean, we've had COVID since then. We've had changes of administrations, changes of policies, inflation, taxes. There's all kinds of things that happen. But one of the most important things is to make sure that your income matches your expenses. Because if it doesn't, now you're starting to spend down your assets. That becomes a math equation. It's very quickly for me to calculate how long it is until you run out of money. Now, for some people, I tell them, hey, look, you're going to run out of money in 50 years. And they go, great, I'm 75 years old. Great. But I have other people, I say, hey, you're going to run out of money in 10 years. And they go, God, goodness, I'm 65. They don't like to hear that news.
Scary,
so
it?
Getting an income reliability checkup, are you paying too much in taxes? Are you taking too much risk? And then one of the biggest things is, how are you set for long-term care? What's your plan? Not that you have to buy insurance, but do you have a plan on how to pay for it? A lot of people think Medicare is going to cover it. It won't.
Right. Well, and then you have to pay into that anyway, right?
Well, Medicare, yeah, you pay it while you're working, and then when you retire, they're taking that out of your Social Security payments.
Right.
Absolutely.
Are there any other hidden health risks, aside from the obvious, what you've just stated, that people should keep in mind? I mean, what if somebody wants to leave something as an inheritance to the younger generations, their kids, grandkids, so on and so forth, or charity? Can they budget for that too? Can you help them?
Well, you should. Exactly. That's exactly what you want to do, is what do you want in your retirement?
So it's one thing to say, you know, okay, I've got enough for 50 years, I'm 75, I'm going to check out. You know, if I spend my last penny, then I'm fine. It's another thing if you want to say, hey, look, I want to support and enrich the lives of my loved ones.
Absolutely, Bree. So that kind of comes down to where should you draw from first? Because a lot of people have a retirement plan. A lot of people have money in the bank. They might have money in stocks in their individual name, joint name, or in a trust. And people don't know where they should take money from when they need it. Let's say we need a new car or something like that. Where do you take the money?
Right.
And so having that kind of a strategy, and again, it's no different than getting your annual checkup. You don't wait until there's a crisis. And even when there is a crisis, what do? You say, hey, look, I need a second opinion. And that's what I'm trying to say is people need to come to a financial advisor or maybe get their financial advisor they've been working with for 20, 30 years and say, how is my financial plan working with the things I want to do? I want to make sure I leave some money for my children and my grandchildren. I want to make sure that, you know, I have enough in case there's an emergency. And again, how do I handle market downturns? Can I insulate my money from risk? Can I insulate it from inflation? And many people can. I mean, I've set things up for people that no matter what happens with the market, their retirement paycheck keeps coming in. They keep having money coming in, and they have enough money to live the lifestyle they want and achieve the goals now and beyond the grave for the people that they care about.
Yeah, and now is so important because you don't want the stress of financial obligations to take over your life, right? So you mentioned turn your savings into a retirement paycheck.
Right, and that comes back down to how secure is that income? You get Social Security, you're getting a little bit of a raise, whatever it is, 2.6%, which is below the rate of inflation. But you're getting a little bit of raise on that. Some people have pensions. Many of those pensions don't rise. And then the gap between what you need and what you want is that shortfall. It's a gap. If you can contractually, meaning you can have something that's guaranteed to pay that or insured to pay that kind of shortfall, now it doesn't matter. Market goes up, market goes down. You're getting the income that you want and desire. And then you have the safety to make sure that you know your money's going to last as long as you do, which is what you really want. But once again, comparing health and wealth is we do it with health. We go see the doctor. Hey, what's going on? Hey, you've got a little bit of a heart issue. Okay, let me go get a second opinion. Let me go see an expert. But when it comes to wealth, people go, well, okay, I hope I'm going to be okay. I mean, 25% of people with money don't have an advisor. Oh, I do it myself. Great, and that's good. There's no, you could be an expert. You could be really good at it. Now, what about the future? What about if you pass? What about if you don't pass and you become incapacitated? How are you going to protect yourself? How are you going to have, financial immunity against bad things? It's like having a prescription for future things that you don't know that might happen to you or your loved one. Because if it's a spouse, let's say here in the village, obviously there's more women than men. Why? Women live more than men. Women control more assets than men. But a lot of them, I hear it all the time. They say, well, my husband was really a genius. Probably was. I see it all the time. They were very good, but it's a different world. The world has changed. Are you keeping up to it? And people have fear. They're like, well, who do I trust? How do I see who's a good financial advisor? Well, you got to go down there and you got to talk to them. You got to get over your fear of talking to somebody and maybe go interview 2 or 3 different advisors. And that little thing in your head, if you're a senior by now, you've figured out, who should I trust? Who should I not trust? You've kind of figured those things out. Yeah. And go talk to 2 or 3 people and you'll figure out who you want to work with. That may help you going forward.
Absolutely. And don't put your trust and faith in the first person you talk to. I mean, there has been a lot of fraud that's gone around for the past 100 million years.
There is, but that doesn't mean you don't do it. Hey, look, there's car accidents all the time. That doesn't mean you don't drive a car.
Right.
You know what I mean? What are you going to walk everywhere? There's car accidents every day. People die. So there's a lot of things that cause problems, Bree. That doesn't mean you say, well, now I'm going to avoid it. What you do is you say, well, how do I figure out who to trust, how to do things? I've been helping people here in the village for over 30 plus years. I've got 0 complaints on my record. I've helped a tremendous amount of people create the safety, income, liquidity, and growth that they desire and need.
Right. One thing we haven't touched on is the cost of health care that continues to rise, increase. We've got some long-term care rates in California for 25. What is the dilemma going on here? How can we avoid it?
Again, a lot of people think that Medicare will pay for long-term care. It doesn't. It covers 100 days, and that's usually when you're discharged from a hospital and you need to go to a rehab center before you come home. But about 67 to 70% of people are going to need some sort of help at some point in their life. Generally, it happens later in life. Some very few people in their 70s need it. It does happen. But once you're in your mid-80s and beyond, sometimes it's not, hey, my wife will help me or my children will help me. They can't. They're working, they're busy, or you need medical attention that isn't available. Right. So you've got to go into some sort of a facility. How do you pay for that? Or you have someone who comes to your house. How do you pay for that? Right. So, I've got home care up there that shows, it's like $83,000. Well, that's for 44 hours a week. If you need someone to stay with you 24 hours a day, you're looking at more like $25,000 to $30,000 a month. And you've got to pay for that out of pocket. What's your plan in case that happens? Well, I don't want it to happen. Well, nobody does. But you got to kind of bet against yourself and say, what if it does? What assets am I going to spend first? Okay, we'll spend this down, we'll spend this down, we'll spend this down. And you've got to, and not only do you need to know it, your caregiver needs to know it too, whoever that's going to be, your executive.
All right, Jerry. Well, your Health and Wealth Financial Forum Club, Thursday, November 13th.
Tomorrow.
from 3 to 5 p.m. Thank you
Yeah,
so
Clubhouse
much, Jerry.
7. Thanks,
Okay,
Bree.
Clubhouse 7. Coming up next, we'll get an update with the Saddle Club. Stay with me.